A lot of that leads to making sure we understand the why behind the what. So as we do things and we suggest new approaches, understanding why certain practices are established, often there's value in maintaining some of that historical context or lessons learned that you can inform to translate into what you're evolving in the industry.
Welcome to Tech Mahindra podcast, where we dive deep into the ideas, innovations, and people transforming the world of telecom and tech. In this series, through candid conversations with the leaders, we explore how emerging technologies are reshaping the way we connect, what it means to the future of the industry, and how their professional journeys have shaped these leaders and their vision. Today on our panel, we are honored to have Erin Hamm, Field Chief Data Officer at Comcast. Over the past 5 years, she's helped shape the company's data strategy. First through her work on internal data fabric that laid the foundation for DataB, and later as one of the early members of the DataB team. Erin combines deep technical skills in analytics and engineering with a passion for solving business problems through data. She also advises on graduate level analytics program at the Franklin University. Erin, great to have you here and welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Pooja. I'm excited to be here.
Wonderful. And you've been with Comcast for about 5 years, a company widely recognized for its strong culture of reinvention. What is it like to be part of the organization that constantly adapts and evolves? How do you personally navigate the balance between respecting established practices and pushing for new ideas?
Yeah, I've been with Comcast for about 5 years, so I've been able to experience the culture firsthand, and it's been incredibly dynamic. The fascinating part of being part of an organization that is as the size and the history of Comcast is that it genuinely embodies this sense and culture of reinvention. It means there's a constant energy around adapting, experimenting, and evolving, which here at DataB we really take to heart. You feel like a perpetual push to improve and anticipate future needs, not just of those internally that work for the company, but the customers that we serve. It's not just a pace. It's a rapidly changing organization and industry. So we're always looking to make sure that we stay ahead of that curve. A lot of that leads to making sure we understand the why behind the what. So as we do things and we suggest new approaches, understanding why certain practices are established, often there's value in maintaining some of that historical context or lessons learned that you can inform to translate into what you're evolving in the industry.
Wonderful. That's amazing. That's a very insightful take, Erin. And I love the analogy you give around why is more important than the what, right? Why we're trying to do something and, what keeps us moving forward. So speaking of moving forward, I also want to dive into your journey with DataB. I know you were part of the internal data fabric team before it became DataB, and now you're leading it from the front. What is it like to watch it evolve and how your hands-on experience with data engineering and analytics has helped shape your perspective on this space? If you can throw some light on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So my journey from being on the internal security data fabric team underneath Newport Davis, our CISO, to now transforming and leading the front end with DataB, it's been really rewarding. Watching it evolve from an internal security data fabric, that was a project that our Nooper and Amish, our CISO Nooper and then Amish Shamin, who was my director at the time, had this idea. They wanted to be able to answer the questions that they didn't dare to ask. And so starting from one or two questions, we're now able to answer several questions. But taking that and building it into a product that not only Comcast can answer the questions to, but any customer of our size, stature, even smaller, are able to answer as well. I do think my hands-on experience in data engineering and analytics during those early days was absolutely crucial. It allowed me to deeply understand the intricacies of how data moves, transforms, what questions are people trying to answer, the firsthand pain points, and the potential of a well-architected security data fabric. And this actually translates very well into DataB. So DataB, my team is comprised of the team that works with all of the customers, but rather than coming from vendor backgrounds, each one of us were a practitioner in our former careers. And so that practical experience has shaped my perspective by grounding me in to the realities of the data and the outcomes that you're striving to get. And so it's not just about theoretical concepts, it's building solutions that are robust, scalable, and they genuinely solve real world problems.
That's amazing. I mean, I can only imagine seeing it grow from an internal to a full scale platform must have been incredibly rewarding. I want to shift gears a little bit because with all the changes in the cybersecurity world, I'm curious to hear your perspective on how do you see that evolving as cyber threats grow and become more complex. How do you envision future of cybersecurity, and how does data be help organizations proactively manage risks and stay resilient?
Yeah, I think the cybersecurity landscape is very sophisticated, and it's going to continue to grow in that sophistication and volume. I do envision that the future of cybersecurity is going to move towards more of a proactive, predictive, and data-driven culture versus more of the reactive, perimeter-based defenses that we have today that are really not that sufficient. We're moving towards a model where understanding and leveraging vast amounts of data in real time will be paramount. Automation and AI, you can't go anywhere without talking about AI anymore. But AI and machine learning are going to play critical roles in defining anomalies and responding to threats at the level that they're going to be attacking the industry.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, and to add on to your thought, staying ahead not only does involve all the technological advancements and the tools that we're talking about, but also involves having the right set of people by your side. And as a member of Franklin University advisory board, you've got a front row seat for the skills and the skills gap in the data today. What do you think skills for tomorrow's data professional look like, and what do they absolutely need to thrive, not just as technical skills, but also in the mindset and the leadership too?
Yeah, so I think being a member of that advisory board as well as working directly with our customers, it does lend that kind of direct view into the skills gaps in the data world. And while the technical skills are essential, they're only one part of the problem. So I could probably talk for hours about the skills that you would want to be in this profession, but I'll narrow it down to just a couple. Strong technical foundation. So whether that's a solid engineering in Python, SQL, data engineering principles, programming languages, database management, or familiarity with data visualization tools, you have to have some level of baseline within that. If you don't have that, you can pair that with having a problem-solving mindset. We can teach you that technical foundation if you enjoy working with tools, you're curious, you're data-driven, you have a mindset and the ability to think critically to solve complex problems. Data professionals and folks in the security industry aren't just processors of data, they're problem solvers. So you want to be able to know, okay, someone is asking me question X, but in reality, what they're trying to get to is Y. You need to be able to decipher that. And then on top of that, you have to be able to communicate it out. I think right now our industry focuses a lot on one or the other. You're either very technical or you can talk to people. But having that unicorn that can do both is critical for the business to continue to thrive. A lot of times those are overlooked. So communication, the ability to translate complex technical insights into understandable business language when you're doing presentations, reports, discussions, whatever it might be. And then the last one is just the adaptability and continuous learning. So you want to make sure that if you are coming into this industry, you're agile, you're open to learning to new technologies and committed to that lifelong learning, because as the cyber landscape shifts, which we just previously talked about, you're going to have to be exposed to new ways that hackers are attacking your network. You're going to have new technologies like AI that are coming along, and who knows what the one will be here, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years. But you have to continue to learn and drive that commitment to lifelong learning.
That's so true. I totally agree. I think some of these soft skills are often what separates a great professional from a good one. Not just about coding or queries. It's about mindset, like you rightly said, adaptability, and knowing how to communicate the story in any field is of utmost importance, I guess. And I want to ask you a little bit of a personal question. I know data and cybersecurity industry moves quickly and can be really demanding. I want to hear your perspective on what helps you stay inspired and how do you pass that energy onto your team?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. The cybersecurity space is very fast paced and incredibly demanding. But one of the things that helped me stay inspired to all the challenges that were faced is just the direct impact that we're having with organizations, making them safer and more resilient against the threats. It's being able to be on that front lines with the customer when they're having a problem and saying, okay, like if you do these 5 things, that can help in this attack. Or if there's an attack that has occurred, you're able to go back and help them triage. How did that person get in? Where did they go? What did they do? And I think beyond that, it's the intellectual stimulation. I come from a mathematics background, so I enjoy solving complex problems and continuously learning about new technologies and the attack vectors that are emerging. So that's how I stay inspired. But I like to pass that on to my team by fostering an environment of both curiosity and continuous learning. They are more than free to experiment, share their knowledge, and always ask the why. So it's not about saying, hey, go do this. And here's how to do it. It's, hey, we need this by this date. You have free reign on how you want to solve that. But this is the date that we're targeting. And then they can ask for as much guidance or help as that they need. I want to make sure that they understand the bigger picture of how their individual contributions fit into the overall mission, both of DataB and Comcast. And then the last one is recognition of their work, celebrating success. So whether it's something big or small, we just had an individual on our team that was nominated for a public speaking course. And so celebrating that success and providing opportunities for them to grow and develop, like attending that public speaking class.
That's amazing. That's a very grounded way to lead, staying connected to the purpose. That really makes a difference. So, I truly appreciate that. Erin, I think hearing about your experiences and vision has been truly inspiring. The way you combine deep technical expertise with strong focus on people and leadership really sets a great example. I think it's clear that your work is not just about technology, it's also about empowering teams and shaping the future of data and cybersecurity. I truly appreciate you taking the time today to join us today and sharing your thoughtful perspective. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on this show. Thank you so much for joining us today, Erin. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much, Pooja. I'm happy to be here.